Hey there, welcome back. This is Pod and Deliver. I'm excited because I have an old colleague, I should say old, but a friend of mine from the past is visiting, and he's actually in the Massachusetts area, I believe, and that is Mike Mooney. Mike, welcome to Pod and Deliver.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Wow, Mike, I'm so excited about having you. When we started this podcast, I was thinking, who do I want on? And I was thinking about you because I have some really good memories of you. And I just felt like you were a very positive person. But before I go into some of those positive memories, I do want to share, can you let the audience know kind of like your teaching experience a little bit and where you're teaching, not where you're teaching, but what grade level? You don't have to share where, but what grade level and so forth.
Sure. I'm a high school teacher, but I'm also an adjunct instructor at a local community college. I've been teaching for 28 years.
Me too, 28. Same. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I think we
great.
started right around the same time.
Yeah.
I'm in Massachusetts, in Western Mass, in a place called the Berkshires. And so I teach 10th and 12th grade this year.
Oh, wow.
In this very weird COVID year, I'm attempting to teach. I think I'm doing okay.
Mostly literature and writing, or just literature?
Yeah, 10th grade English,
Okay.
exactly. We're talking composition, we're talking reading, responding to literature, and,
Great.
like 10th grade and 12th grade.
So interesting, Mike. I do exactly what you're doing, minus the adjunct professor part, one day maybe. But this might be a silly question, but I know that's changed. I know the online thing has changed. How would you say it's changed the most in terms of teaching literature, responding to literature, and composition on the online platform?
Wow.
Really good question. I like Jacob said, I tend to be positive about things.
You
So
are.
I do see a silver lining to this whole COVID-19 mess in the pedagogy. It's become very obvious to me that I've had to move out of my comfort zone and to embrace technologies that I didn't know ever existed, with the help of colleagues and professional development. I've been able to see things that I would never ordinarily use. Technologies like Zoom, of course, and all the different elements of Zoom, sharing screens, the whiteboard, all those neat little things. And in addition, apps. We have, let's see, what am I using? Ed Puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Pear Deck, I think it is. Yeah, Pear Deck.
Wow.
Ed Puzzle. Oh,
Love Ed Puzzle.
Yeah, Ed Puzzle is pretty cool. There is another one. Nearpod.
Nearpod, yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
A PowerPoint on crack.
It totally is. It's crazy, and you know what it is? It's really interactive, and it's those kids who are sitting at home or in front of me. Remember, it's hybrid, all reacting at the same time, synchronously, and I love it, and it makes them, it engages them. All these little things. Ed Puzzle is great. I can take snippets of film or YouTube things and then stop it, throw a question in, and suddenly you've got some interaction going. So I don't know if I'd ordinarily do that. With everybody in the classroom, I would probably stop the film and just ask them that way. But here they've got to actually type in the questions, and then we have a moment of discussion, and it moves on. And somehow or other, there's some odd energy to it, and it works, Not that it takes the place of 20 kids in the classroom,
Wait a minute, you guys have 20 to 1 over there in Massachusetts?
Probably closer to 15 to 1, but because of
Are there any teaching openings in Massachusetts right now? Oh my goodness, but you know the numbers back in LA, Mike.
Oh yeah, I remember
now.
28, almost 28 to 30 kids in the.
I have 41, 42 right now, Mike. It's changed a little bit since you left. Yeah.
Do you have a co-teacher?
Do I have a what?
Co-teacher?
No, I'm very fortunate. I have a student teacher this year that is And I mean, I'm like, hey, help me out, and we're working well together. Maybe I'm
Okay,
taking
so
advantage of him, but
work
no,
from Tuesday to Friday. I'll come in on Mondays, and
right? Yeah, but wow, you're blessed for having those numbers. But
uh,
how about the college? I mean, is it the same at the college level regarding? Ruben was asking about the writing piece, but like, are you using the same strategies, same apps there as well?
um, okay, so I haven't taught at BCC since summer. I taught a
Okay,
215. I usually do 2 to 3 a year
okay,
because I'm teaching full time at the high
sure.
school. And that comes,
It comes
but
first.
I've been doing it for 15 years, so
Yeah,
uh, I kind of got it all packaged and ready to go. But that's a problem in and of itself.
sure.
Last summer I had to do the Zoom, and wow, what a learning curve. I mean, I had to learn very, very quickly, and I
So you were
found
on Zoom at the college level as well, then?
yes. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
College was shut down completely,
Ooh,
and we still had a full class. I had about 23 or 24, and it's a mix. So we have kids coming right out of high school.
jeez.
Now this was a 215 intro to lit,
Okay.
so they've already taken their comp 1 and 2. I know that one of your questions was, do I feel they're prepared to?
Yeah, because that was actually when I was thinking about you, Mike. I was thinking, that was something that's been stirring in my heart. Are we, as
Yeah.
we didn't plan on COVID, right? But it came, it hit us, and we're trying to be positive. I know you're a positive person, so I mean, are these kids going to get? I mean, you're going to get them this summer, probably, right? Maybe or in the fall, at the college level. Are they ready to come before you? Are they going to be ready in the fall for you?
Um, okay, so here.
It's a tough one. I know.
I'll be teaching at 101
Okay.
first semester college comp. Um, uh, for me, I can work with any level student that comes in. Yes, because it's a community college, they come in at different levels.
Okay.
Oftentimes, they're older students who come in who haven't been in the classroom in 10, 15, 20 years.
Sure.
But they bring in that wisdom that they have and that energy and that motivation. Whereas some of the teenagers that come in are, um, I wonder why they're there, but
Right.
I kind of, get them talking. And my whole gig is contribution. I, I, um, I impress on them that we're a conversation that's been going on forever and ever.
Yeah.
And you walk into the door and you kind of you listen and you pick up on the tenor of the conversation. This is the first day, first couple of days of school, and when you're ready, you put your oar in and you enter the conversation. Now, the contribution part is that I impress on them that when they raise their hand or when they write their essays they're contributing to that conversation and they're changing it. They're literally, the power of their voice is changing the conversation, the discourse, call it, forever. Think about it for in little ways and maybe even grand ways. But if they knew that there is a power there in that contribution, they're more motivated. They want to speak up. They want to talk. They want to, and I want them to know that when they speak, somebody's listening to them, not just me, but other people. And you could be asking a question that will help somebody down here. That's really good classwork strategy. I mean, we all know it. But do the kids know the power of their contribution? And I did not come up with that. That is a Kenneth Burke, a great literary critic from the 40s, 30s, or 40s, and it was his very famous metaphor of life that it's.
But it shows that you're valuing them. I mean, that's valuing each student, I should say, where they're at. I didn't even think about. I mean, that's how I'm glad you're here to share this because it's when they come in, like you said, where they're at. You're meeting them. Because I was thinking, man, these poor kids are going to be so behind. But in your thought, you're thinking, hey, I'm going to get them where they're at. And
Yeah,
we'll look
exactly.
at it. Wow.
As soon as they have agency, that, and I open the doors to creativity and spontaneity. They, there were always those shy ones who are reticent. They're reticent writers, they're reticent speakers. It could be just shyness, it could be whatever. But they know that they can walk into that parlor anytime. And the parlor, from Kenneth Burke's point of view, was this metaphor for life, that we all don't have to be in a classroom. It could be in any facet of our life. As long as we contribute something and we change, and we embrace change, and we're okay with change, because that's what we do as human beings.
So let me, just so that it's clear to me, Mike, is that you're saying that you ensure that each student, as much as possible, contributes to the class, whether verbally, it sounds like it's verbally, so that they're more motivated in the class to do the work and to build the skills. Is that more or less?
Yeah, there's another word for it. It's called agency. They feel like they can be agents of their own thinking. They can advocates of their own mind, so to speak, and their own thinking. So once they realize that, I mean, if there's some, there will always be those kids who just are there because mom or dad kind of pushed them there. But then, maybe, with a good positive attitude, like we bring to our classrooms, because you can't go into a classroom with this defeatist, fatalistic, negative attitude. You're going to sink really quickly. And it's not a put on. I mean, I think we dedicated teachers are just positive, glass half full people. You have to be. And
well, the good ones are, Mike. The good ones are, yeah.
The good ones.
But you're right. I think most are, though. I mean, you have to be in education, right? You have to be that mindset.
So is this a book, Kenneth Burke?
No, he's a literary critic from the 40s, and it was really simply a paragraph in a larger essay that he wrote. And you can look it up, Kenneth Burke's Parlor.
Well, we will now, Mike. Yeah,
please
for sure.
do. Yeah, and it's just a little snippet. He's walking down the street. He hears the din of conversation coming through a window, and he's curious, and he steps through and into the parlor. But before he gets in, he has to listen, and then he picks up the tenor of the conversation, like I said, and he walks in and he begins to ally himself with somebody over here or defend himself from somebody over here, but he's putting in his own or his 2 cents. What's really fascinating is that it's a conversation that continues forever. The hour grows late, he goes home, but the conversation continues without him. It's the conversation of life. And we come in and contribute, and then we leave. We may come back, but it's the power of the human voice. It's the power of the human energy. So it's kind of cool. So I locked into that.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, as you're sharing, I was thinking about you as somebody who also really spent time with the students, not just in the classroom, but outside. I remember you being part of baseball. Tell me if I'm incorrect. Lead teacher of a information technology academy. I remember this play, and tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting the wrong person, but I thought you did something like Our Town or something like that. Am I correct?
Yeah, drama. We did
drama, and so you brought so many things to our school. And did you do that just because, hey, you wanted to? What was your purpose to? I mean, because there's some teachers who seem to do that, and there's some teachers who don't. How would you recommend that for maybe a new teacher getting involved like that?
Well,
it takes a lot of time, I know.
Don Zitko.
Oh, yes.
Remember Don? And we're sitting in the room, and it was really at the beginning. The high school had just formed, no sports. Right. And she said, who here likes baseball? And I
likes baseball.
I raised my hand. He says, good, you're the new coach.
You're the new coach.
So I didn't exactly volunteer for that, I don't think, but I said, let's give it a go. So, awesome. But as far as the drama goes, I've always loved drama, just theater. And Mr. Vasquez, remember the
oh, yes.
Enrique, I forgot his first
name. I think it was Enrique Vasquez.
Yeah, he just sat in his room all day, anyway, but he was a good guy. And and he gave me all the money I wanted to buy lights and do everything. Wow. So he was very cool. I said, yeah, let's get this thing going. So we did 2 or 3 plays. We did one really cool thing I'm really proud of is the LA Opera Company brought in the Compton Homies and Pops. It was a libretto on a gang. It was a true story, a gang of kids and a cricket team. And the cricket team invited the gang members to come in and play. And that's the whole story. And they wound up playing before the royalty in England at some point. It was nuts. It was beautiful. So somebody in LA Opera wrote up the libretto and we put it on.
Awesome.
In school.
But I think that's why the students were endeared to you, because you did things like that. Because you didn't have to, Mike, as you remember. I mean, we could just did our job and leave at 3 o'clock, and we knew teachers who did that. But you did that. You brought in those opera companies. You went in to play baseball, you know. And I think the kids saw that and they gravitate to that, because I think if you're just, they know the teachers that are, they're there for them, you know, after hours. And I think, I'm sure that those students there in Massachusetts are getting a treat as well. So, but
I'm actually starting JV coaching.
Are you really? Baseball?
Baseball again.
That's
It's been
awesome.
a while. It's been a while. I have been the liaison to Jacob's Pillow, which is a dance, very famous, world famous dance company in the Berkshires here. And we brought them in to the school. It's the Jacob's Pillow Curriculum in Motion, where they'll go and for a couple of week residency, they'll come in and they'll turn literature into movement.
Oh, wow.
And allow kids the full interpretive palette to do what they want. So we've done Grapes of Wrath, we've done Huck Finn, we've done The Hate You Give. Oh man, it's just all over the place there. So
you said you turned literature into movement.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what we do is we get on the wrestling mats and we have this professional guy, lady, a different one every year. And they come in and they just kind of get us interpreting movements, feelings, senses, imagery. They turn it into movement. And then we turn that into, we add a little music, backbeat or something. It's not always music. And suddenly they take a chunk of that novel or that short story or that poem, whatever they're doing, or that history lesson or the biology lesson, or a couple of reticent math teachers tried it a couple of years ago and we were really kind of blown away by it. How to turn math into movement, right? Wow. Really crazy stuff. So
I really like that. There's something about, I've noticed this, there's something about getting a students up and moving around and including content that they own it. They remember it. Something about the physicality of it. Any chance I can take it. You know, it's really smart.
True. Get them out of the seat. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Take them on a field trip. One thing about ELC is we were able to take them out into the woods and build a bonfire. Yeah. Remember, we'd take them to the beach. Some of those kids have never been to the beach.
They hadn't. You're right.
So
30 miles away from the beach, and they've never been there. Wow.
For those who don't know, ELC stands for Elizabeth Learning Center in Cudahy, California. Yeah. For those of you who might not know what Cudahy is, it's Cudahy, Maywood. It's a community, maybe considered underserved community of LA. I'm curious, Mike, what brought you from Massachusetts to LAUSD, specifically ELC, and then what sent you back?
Probably that 20-1 brought you back.
I taught at UMass Boston for 2 or 3 years after the master's program. That's where I got my feet wet in college writing and teaching. And then I spent a couple of years doing the adjunct shuffle, moving from, well, in the East Coast here, I was Brockton, which is Massasoit Community College, to UMass Boston, to Northern Essex Community College, to Quincy College, all of that a week. And I got kind of tired of it. And, you know, it wasn't really bringing in a lot of money. I mean, a little bit, but so I just started putting out applications. And I grew up in El Toro, Tustin, California.
Oh, you know what? That rings a bell. I think you remember telling me that back then. Okay.
Marine Corps base. My father was a Marine there at the air station at El Toro, which I don't think exists anymore.
I don't think so.
But so California was sort of, you know, in my soul a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So I jumped at the chance of going in and interviewing with Mrs. Heckenberg. And,
oh yeah, she interviewed me too. Yeah.
And LAUSD. I didn't actually know anything about ELC. They just said there's an opening there, go. And, so that's how I did that. 8 years. I think it was there about 8 years.
8 years? Wow. Okay. And you really starting the program, the Infotech Academy there, and
well, Scott Barber actually started.
Oh, did he start it, and then you came after him?
Right, and Miss Marion and
okay, that's right.
Laura Marion.
Okay.
And so it was the strangest thing, but I had just been learning about small learning communities, and like a hot topic at the at graduate school, breaking things instead of the big complex schools, like what's the one? Right. Bell, is it?
Bell High School, right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved and jumped at the idea, and
it is unique. A K through 12. I think there's only a couple still in the district, and our high school is a very small high school, and we got to know the kids, as you remember, Mike. And the kids knew you when they graduated. Everyone practically, I know they knew you, and hopefully myself as well. But that was kind of special. That was a pretty special time.
It was. I think upon my days at ELC very warmly. It was a great formative time for me in my teaching. Great people. Frank Davis.
I was going to dedicate this episode to Frank Davis because he was a colleague of ours. And
yes.
Yeah.
And also Paulino
Fontes as well. Yeah.
So I'm very sad to hear about both.
Yeah.
I know I'm Facebook friends with a lot of former students, and they're very upset. So
yeah, I think it's because, like we shared, these students knew us very well because they had us probably for 10th grade English, 11th grade for you and for me, 10th grade, 11th grade U.S. history, government. So they got to know us, and and
it was smaller, so there was a lot of one-on-one.
Yes, there was. I was just kind of in a lighter note. I was thinking about Mike. I was also remembering that you like to play drums. Am I correct? I mean, weren't you a drummer in a band?
I was,
at one time. I mean,
late 70s, early 80s.
Wow. And you gave all that up to stardom to become a teacher. What an amazing man you are.
Stardom.
Stardom. Now, I was thinking, because I love, have you ever watched the Rick Beato videos on YouTube?
No.
You got to watch him. He does a series on what makes a song great. Yeah. And so I thought about you when they do it on drumming, and I wanted to ask you, what are your top 3 drummers of all time? Like, I need to know, because I have my idea, but which you might throw up there, but we like to go music here on Pod and Delivers so we kind of sway for a moment. We'll sway back to education, but we definitely love music here.
Drummers. Mick Avery from the Kinks.
Oh, you threw a softball at me. I mean, a curveball at me, not softball, a curveball.
I like the drummer from what's it called? I can't think of it.
I'll just say Neil Peart from Rush, maybe, or.
He's too good. He was too good. I just don't. I blank out. Neil Peart. No, he's so fantastic. He's not part of my top 3. He's like God level,
Right. He's
so good. He's a machine.
So sad that he passed away. Yeah, he's such a.
I know.
They can't even really perform anymore because he was it. He was the guy.
They're talking about it though.
Are they really? Without Neil Peart? Oh my gosh. Jeez. Do you have Phil Collins in that list at all or not? I mean, I know that sounds silly, but I think he's a good drummer.
It's his list. It sounds like you have a list.
I like Phil. I'm sorry for throwing these. I'm sorry. I'll let you continue, Mike. Do you have another one?
There, being on the Boston 80s music scene, a lot of good drummers there. Yeah. So I would have to say Peter Prescott from Mission to Burma. Which is punk rock, post-punk actually.
Wow.
Malcolm Travis from Human Sexual Response, who's a machine, wonderful. Terry Hanley from the Neats. And these are not household names, of course, but they were huge in the 80s.
No, actually, thank you for saying what you just said, because now I could share this with my friend Niraj, who digs some of these '80s punk, early,
Mhm.
those are really cool choices there. Very out of the box there, Mike. I like it.
No, I do. I totally thought you were going to go somewhere else, Mike, but you went. You're talking like a drummer. That's what you're doing right now. You're talking like someone who really appreciates music. So
Live
that's
music,
awesome.
What's
not
that?
stadium music, live music.
Live
Going
Oh
music.
yeah, isn't
club
that the best?
to see them right up close. You
Yeah.
know, the energy and the slamming around and the movement of the
I miss
audience.
that. Oh
Oh
jeez,
God, me too.
I can't wait to go. Oh man.
Since you were all geeking out on music, which I love, I would like to geek out. We another day we had another English teacher, and we were geeking out on some books. What about a couple of authors that maybe fly under the radar with a lot of people? In fact, I'll give you one that I have a friend who reads so much, and I was surprised he had never heard of this. And I go, maybe people haven't heard of this. I'll give you an example of a book that flies under people's radar, and that is
Mhm.
Ask the Dust by John Fonte. So he's like somebody, specifically that book, people might not have read, but is there a couple of authors that you really like that,
Hmm.
Huh. Um,
Might be tough,
I,
like the drummers, right?
um, okay. I like his last name is Berger, Thomas Berger,
Hmm.
and he wrote. Oh gosh, they've made a few movies of his books. Little Big Man, Dustin
Oh, yeah.
Hoffman
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That was a Thomas Berger movie
Yeah.
book. The Neighbors they
Okay.
made in the '80s. That's Thomas Berger, but those are like comedies, and his books are well sort of Vonnegut-esque,
Mm.
kind of taking humor but twisting it into this cold iron reality of things. And yeah, so Thomas Berger is one of them. Harry Crews, whose only novel I read was called The Car, which he, as a person who's decided to eat a car. And yeah, weird. I like the fringe writers pretty
I get
much, but
absolutely.
it's metaphorical, of
Yep,
course.
yep.
There is one author, current author, that I have right here. It's one I'm just finished reading.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's called Recursion by Blake Crouch. Really good sci-fi writer. He's also written, there's a TV show that's called Wayward Pines. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's on Netflix. It's a sci-fi horror kind of thing. I'm into that.
I didn't know you like sci-fi. That's awesome. Okay.
Oh, I love sci-fi. Yeah.
I'm very late to the game, Mike. But I get it now. It's great.
Eclectic. You got to be eclectic. You got to love the unknown with the known.
And they're different from each other. It's not one thing.
Would you consider Ray Bradbury science fiction? Because I read some of that this summer, and I liked it. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. I've taught Fahrenheit 451. There's so many. It's so applicable today. The TV screens and the mindlessness of entertainment and yeah, that's a good one. And,
I like it. Your choices are like your drummers. It's stuff that's underneath the surface. You got to hunt for it. But there's probably some good treasures there.
Oh, there's treasures. Yeah, there's treasures everywhere. Oh, speaking of treasure, Christian Markovich.
Yes.
Remember Christian?
Oh yeah, he'll be on Pod and Deliver soon, I believe it or not.
Oh, good. I just sent him our new album. We just had a new album come out.
Oh, cool.
Gingerbread Men.
Gingerbread.
Well, okay. Here's terrible promotion here.
That's okay. That's what we're here for. Awesome.
Gingerbread. Anyway,
okay.
It's an archival. It's an archival thing. So we're not getting back together or anything.
I was gonna say, I thought that's the name. That name.
5 years old there. So.
Right.
Yeah. No, there's collectors out there. But anyway, back to Christian. His sister is in a band called the Honeytones, and they're absolutely fantastic. So, yeah.
I remember her. That's awesome.
I don't think she must have been. She's younger, I think she must be. I don't know, but she's a fantastic band. Really good. I just wanted to plug that because.
Oh no, thanks. No, we want to do that. We want to all help each other out here on Pod and Deliver. I wasn't sharing as you were sharing. I was thinking about because you mentioned people like Frank Davis, yourself, even Paulino. I believe that we did a lot of mentoring back then. Of course, even especially helping these students get mentorships within, you know, in, I guess they went to, what did they do with Boeing, or I think they went to places like that. Yeah. And with the, Infotech, and then for the Health Academy, they went to Kaiser and St. Francis Hospital. And so, how about yourself, Michael? It was extraordinary for the kids. And I was just thinking about yourself. Who was your mentor? Maybe not now, but maybe back in the day, or maybe you have someone now that you just kind of go to, or you know, you can still learn from.
It's this great history teacher named Jacob Aguilar.
Oh, please.
A rock. He's a rock.
Now we know you're kidding, Mike.
Now we know you're following.
I just walked into Jacob's room and he'd have that smile, and it was just like,
that's all that's going on with my smile. What's going on, Mike? Help me. These kids are driving me crazy. No, boy.
Not far from that. Scott Barber.
He's awesome.
You know, those two, even though they were in different academies, I'd get some of the coolest, craziest off-the-wall conversations with Paulino.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And he just, he just had his own little set of wisdom, his own view of lens on life, and I really loved it. And Scott Barber, who's just, who wasn't that much more experienced than I, but he had this sort of center, this core.
Calmness too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, just
calmness, yeah. So I was attracted to that kind of the positivity, the calmness, and the off the wall kind of thing. And the Laura Marion, who is just brilliant, you know, she was just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we had some really good teachers there. You mentioned, like, they're so different. Paulino from Laura to Scott, but they all connected with the kids somehow. Paulino with the stories and his wrestling with bears and just his wealth of knowledge of even the city. And then Scott, of course, he married a Latina, and he would always bring humor and talking, he tried to talk Spanish with the kids, and he probably knew more than I did. And even Laura with her background with going to an Ivy League school, but coming back to the community and teaching. We were pretty rich with teachers there.
There were experiences with the Peace Corps in Chad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Her stories. Fantastic. And and who was the art teacher?
She's still there. Kimberly Parker, one of my good friends, right?
Wonderful.
And her husband George Janoski. Was George there when you were there?
Yeah. Oh yes. And they were
lovely people.
Very wonderful people. That just just embrace those kids, and probably still do. Of course,
they still do. They still do there. Okay. Yeah. So you have quite a few people. I guess we share a lot of the same people too, who really inspired us and just
shared
mentors.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, listen.
That's cool.
Oh, I know. I mean, and you know what? I'm so glad that I'm closer than, of course, you are. I mean, you're in Massachusetts, but I still have the ability to be able to, go down there and every so often and visit. Before the COVID, of course.
Before you miss it too much, remember, I believe first bow was at 7:20.
Oh yeah, do you remember that, Mike? 7:20.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
I'm not sure if that's.
I don't miss it that much.
Oh geez, that was a little nutty. That was a little. I do have to ask you, Mike. I know you like baseball, but. What do you put your Boston Red Sox?
You don't go there.
You have a couple of our guys and take care of Kiki and take care of Doogie.
No,
okay.
No, Mike.
I think we have one of your guys.
No, you said you were from. You have the heart of LA.
That's right.
So you're a Dodger fan.
Of course, he's that. Of course.
I was a Dodger fan and an Angels fan when I was out there, but I was always a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, the Sox are good.
Do they have a? Do they?
What do you think about? 6 in a row.
What do you think about this year? What do you think about the team this year?
He is red hot. Kiki is red hot, man.
Oh, I'm so jealous you guys have him. He's such a great guy. Do you think that, as Ruben was saying, do you think they have a chance this year to be up there in the top one or two?
If Sale comes back and comes back strong, there is a chance that we could make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're in a rebuilding.
Yeah.
So
you lost a lot of great guys.
Yep.
That one kid named Betts, I don't think anything's going to come out of him. But.
So what were you going to say, Mike?
Still wounded. We're still wounded from that whole thing. And Jackie Bradley's gone.
Oh, I know.
Ben Attendee. This guy came in and cleared out everything. But it's impressive little team. We got Devers, and we've got D. Martinez, and we've got a couple of kids that are Franchi from Franchi, what's his name, from somewhere.
No, I know who you're talking about though. Yeah.
And Marwin from I forgot, but he's good, and it's a solid team.
Yeah, that team is they just made a few. Maybe they made like you said, they're overhauling that division though. Wow,
Yeah.
just almost every team is tough now, and Blue Jays are building.
We just got the Padres to worry about.
Exactly,
and everybody else.
That's the best division you guys are in. So it's fun to watch. I like that.
So Sohei from the Angels and Trout. Do you have anything with any heart, any love for Angels?
Well,
absolutely.
They're awesome ball players. I mean, come on, they're the best.
I think Mike Trout is the best. I can't say he's the best player ever, but
he's up there.
He's up there. I mean, and Ohtani is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see a pitcher with that skill and then go out into the field.
Yeah.
Just to watch him. He is fun.
They got great hitting this year, but it's the pitching they're gonna really. Angels they got to work on that area. Where the Dodgers are pretty well rounded. They're kind of a machine right now, and I know I'm talking because I'm a big fan, but they're a machine.
No, they are, and they're probably going to win another World Series. That's what everyone's predicting. So
I think so.
And I'm so happy for them last year.
Oh, me too. Because but hey, you know what? We're gonna have you come back on again so we can talk some more baseball, and do some music, do some strategies. But I just really appreciate you being willing to come on here and chat with us, and just even relive old times of being ELC brethren. But thanks a lot, Mike, for being on.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Mike.
Joy. Thank you both.
Bye-bye.